Last time in the Adventures of Power Rangers, Sas organizes a King of the Hill tournament at his mansion and selects 8 potential students. Rave spends time learning alchemy and new potions. She and Farvald also visit Gaki in the rehab. The party also decided to visit the lands that were given to them by the Duke. Sas starts the construction of the tavern as Farvald tries to scry on Breen and couldn't find her. He tries to contact her and realizes that he's talking to her soul. The party rushes back to Bubble and travels to Madea area where they left the altar of the Great Equalizer. The altar is no longer there. There are several dozens of dead paladins, and Breen's body was found on a nearby hill. The party decides to travel to the Druid Enclave of Kirinal, hoping to bring their friends back to life.
Seems like it.
No, I cannot hear you on stream.
Oh.
Yeah, I also know.
1 2 1 2. Okay. Now my microphone is okay. You trying to say something? Okay, it's
Now it
detected.
works.
Okay, now it all works. Okay, second time starting it. Damn, updating versions sometimes brings unusual problems. Anyway, thank you everybody who joined. The music is also back up. As we're back in the world of the Seer as a party of Power Rangers continuing their saga, their epic adventure in the episode number 106. As you've seen from the intro video, wait, there's some noise coming in. I think that's microwave. Carolina, your microwave.
Oh my god. Sorry.
It makes weird noises.
Sometimes you can detect the white noise origin. Just
Oh my god.
yes, it's still there.
Okay. I'll mute myself until it's gone.
It sounds very suspicious though. It's like this typical sound when someone is beaming someone in very old sci-fi movies or so. Or someone's trying to communicate with a computer.
Yeah,
Something like that.
that's the spirit of D&D trying to talk with us. So as the party of Power Rangers, as you've seen in the intro videos, they had quite news to handle last episode, as they have finally had some downtime for the activities they long scheduled, and then afterwards they decided to return back to the let's say the place where they left their friend, and the only thing they found was the corpse of a friend. And now they're rushing all the way to the friends in the Druid Enclave, who hopefully could assist them in bringing their friend back. So thank you everybody who joined, as the party of Power Rangers currently find themselves in the middle of the traveling. You just entered back the bubble system, and you, last time I remember, you have indicated Ironwood as your destination, because that was the closest point from the available points on the map. Correct?
Who's the bubble leader?
Wait. Didn't we want to do like
Changes.
Druid Enclave first? And no, like,
Yeah, but it's in the same area. How you want to do it, there is only one closest exit bubble there, so. Yeah, so
Okay.
somebody of you click the button and the teleportation system enabled. You currently have your friend Breen in the bag of holding as you're trying to bring her along the remains of her corpse to somebody who could revive her. You know that you're on timer, that last time you were next to her body, they passed at least 7 days since the last time you saw her alive. So you're approaching a 10 days mark after which resurrection only gets harder and more expensive. So, wait, let me check something.
Didn't we casted something that extends the... No? No one did anything like
No, you don't have any of those spells. Currently, it's Polo, Farvald, Rave, and Sas. Dr. Ravich has been left back in the Denver. He's currently on the assignment from Sas. You don't have any other retainers or friends accompanying you at this specific moment. Something happened with the music. Where is the music? Okay, music is back. Perfect. So, currently the party is again find accommodation inside of the bubble system. You're back to your rooms. Everybody has this unsettling thoughts about what happened in this small place next to the exit to the bubble where the altar was. Altar is no longer in place. You've seen some weird signs of battle. Like a couple of dozens of dead horse riders on that field left dead. You didn't decide to loot them. You decided to leave them as they are. The only thing you have collected with you along was the body of Bryn. So you know the rules of the traveling. You have now basically 1 day where you can mark all long rest. And during this time, there might be several days passing on the outside as you are currently traversing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kilometers to a different location. Is there anything you would like to do while you're inside of the bubble, or discuss something among yourself?
There were, but they're gone. Did we write something down?
Maybe in general.
He's right.
Yeah, if there's the last thing is the home to go link, and this is something different. So there is nothing that you have noted in the general channel that would be a topic for the conversation, so maybe there's something new coming in.
Yeah, I don't have anything in my notes.
Rave, did you receive the list of potions you have learned?
Yeah, I saw that you wrote it, but I haven't read them yet, so...
Okay, you can read them now as you're in a bubble. You can also share them with your party as you see fit. Regarding to the costs of the components for each of those potions, it's mostly limited by the rarity of a potion. So depends on rarity, this much of you need to spend on the components for it. And also time.
Yeah.
Yes?
A question. What do I see on my necklace of direction while we're traveling in the bubble?
As you're trying to identify the direction looking at this artifact, to your surprise, those wavy lines that usually are showing you direction, at this specific moment, they are just standing still without leaning towards any of the directions. That's looking like the device is broken. It doesn't react to a stimuli that it usually would react. on the material plane.
Very good to know.
Any other questions? Anything else before we proceed?
Since I read more about alchemy, did it increase in some way? Yeah, the speed for me to brew the potions that I cannot even remember. I don't know. Wasn't it like 4 hours?
So generally the speed of brewing depends also on the complexity of the potion. If it's easy, like a common one, there is no problem. You can make those in batches, remember? You can do several of those at once. You also have a brewing device, I think, which assists you, could assist you in that. As per other potions, your learning curve was not about speeding up your process, but rather increasing your list of potions. So increasing the speed of production depends on how often you actually use your skill. So if you would be stuck in the alchemy lab for some time, then definitely in a month or so, your speed of brewing would greatly increase.
Okay.
Sas? I see a question on your face.
No, I'm just going through my items. No, nothing. I don't think there's anything super important I would like to do. We are traveling for 3 days?
You don't know how long exactly passes on the outside. Okay, if there are no other questions, we will proceed. So, as per usual, you do feel a bit of trembling in the middle of a night. Or was it a day, or was it a night? You don't know how much time actually passes on the outside. But since you're so accustomed traveling through the bubble, it's not a problem anymore, and I'm not sure if I ever will mention this effect to you, because you're so used to it. None of you fell from the bed ever again from this moment. In the morning, when you feel fully rested and your horses are eager to actually get some space, you're getting out from the bubble exit. This time in the location which you haven't visited before, but clearly is identified on the navigational map, which you find in the lobby of the teleportation, let's call it device. As you're leaving the icon, the exit point is indicated on the map to be on the western part of the Ironwood. So if you're looking at the global map, this would be on the outskirts of a town, on the direction to the town or village called Tira. So
that's west.
To the west, yes, to the west. So 2 stripes to the left from Ironwood. This is where you locate the exit to the bubble. So if you go directly to the north, you will, through the forest, you will end up next to the Tower of Tiemra, which you never visited. You were invited there once, but you decided to abandon it. And if you go all the way by the track to the east, you will soon end up in the Ironwood. But you know that the Quirinal direction doesn't go directly to the east, it goes northeast. So now it's up to the party to decide, do you go through Ironwood, do you go directly to Quirinal, kind of to make it a shortcut, what do you do? It's 4 of you.
I wanted
Where's
to go to
Quirinal?
Quirinal as fast as possible. Then come back for Iron.
Yes.
I remember that.
Yes. Because of them, time limits we have.
Okay. Sas is just a passenger. He has no idea where he is taken to.
We're flying the Pegasus, or what's going on?
Rafe to be actually has quite a speed advantage from all of you, so she could easily, take ahead from the normal horses that you are using. You can even send her further away if you want, or you can travel as one without splitting the party.
I'll travel with Rafe if that's possible, right? If you have places.
In the
Passes.
bag. She has places in the bag.
No, didn't we say that the Pegasus can take like 3 people?
Yeah, he can. It's a large creature, he can. And halfling counts as a half creature, so...
So half a creature.
So he wouldn't be that heavy. If you don't count all the money he carries along with him. That's the only thing that weights him down, you know?
That decreases because we have high inflation, so even Polo has less money. No, it's not like we get interests on the money we have, but inflation is big time, so it looks like lots of, but not anymore.
It's enough. Anyway, you're trying to use the Pegasus to go faster, yes? And you take Sus with you.
I'll take Sus with me. I mean, if there is okay with it, or if we want to go all together all the time. But I guess it's a good idea trying to get there before.
I mean, wait, let me remember the agenda. So what do we want to do in Kirina? We want to check if they can survive Bryn, and we want to maybe get the arm back for Sus. Did we have anything else on the agenda?
The Avenger people, we're gonna find them if they are there.
Okay, but for now you guys, so that means Sus and Rafe are taking Pegasus, which means splitting the party, so Polo and Farwald would still be going by foot.
But we have 3.5 persons. We can maybe fit.
3.5?
Yeah, if you put everybody on the same Pegasus, you can do it.
Yeah, sorry, I miscalculated. I was into numbers. Yep.
So
okay, you're left.
Go together in the...
Yeah, the Pegasus is not gonna carry other 3 horses that you have. Just saying, you know, it's.
Oh, what about a horse?
So you could just leave them here.
In a bubble.
Can we do like some? No.
Can't we make them follow us? Like,
you know, make it physically possible to make them fly. Like, you know, we go fast. They have some.
It's not like helicopter rescue mission that you can just buckle them under the Pegasus.
Then you're gonna have
a
to
bag of folding for the horses. We never forget them.
I think they have to breathe.
No, they're not gonna fit. So, let's say the horses are just next to the exit to the bubble.
Well, they can
so they have
bubble,
something.
Right?
They can stay inside as well. You don't know just where it goes afterwards.
It's just like, imagine it's like a box, you put the horses in, you close it, and you open it again, they're not there anymore. That
Schrödinger horses, yes. Yes, Farwald, you even though you always thought that you're sleeping in the same bed, but every time you feel like it's still a different room, even though everything looks exactly the same.
It's a hypercube.
Okay, so I would suggest like we put the horses like not next to the entrance, but a bit further away. And then I don't know. I think Farwald is very familiar and good with his horse right now. So he tries to I don't know, gain, you know, like petting him with nostrils and all of that, and then whispering.
Roll, please show us your animal handling.
Where's the right? There it is.
Sas, actually, you were rolling
Never
for
mind.
Nate. Okay, yeah. Farewell. Horses are not really into you. Sas, you were rolling the nature earlier. For what? What was your question? I can answer it right now.
How strong are owlbears, and can they kill 25? How many owlbears you need to kill 25 paladins of Pelor?
I think there were like quite a lot of owlbears.
So you know that owlbears are strong. They could be deadly for a beginner kind of adventuring party. Really deadly. Even one of them. When they're in a pack, they're more dangerous. But the more experienced you are, the easier it is to handle them. And sometimes just, staying in peace with them is the best type of outcome. Usually they're not the ones who would be fiercely attacking first. They could do it as a sake of defense of their prey, or defense of what they have earned, or defense of their territory. They're fairly loyal creatures. And when you think about the dead bodies that you've seen next to the exit to the bubble, you definitely know that those 5 owlbears that you've seen wouldn't be enough to kill even the half of the paladins.
Okay. Strange.
So it wouldn't be enough to kill half of the paladins.
Even a half of that squad that was dead, yes. You've seen paladins in battle firsthand. You've seen how much healing they can do and how much damage they can withstand in their heavy armor. And here they were all even on horses, so they had extra mobility and extra options to, chase somebody up. They were not bare feet, just like your paladin friends in the battle against Roman Remendmar. Okay, that was the roll. Okay, so everybody loads onto the Pegasus, which now feels a bit, heavy.
Won't be so fast anymore.
But you are able to bypass the difficult terrain, which are forests in this area. You know, what do you remember about Ironwood? Ironwood is a place where a lot of peasants were coming into the season in order to hunt, or in order to just work as a lumberjacks a lot. Because these woods are fairly rich and very sturdy wood, like tree types. And yeah, they are very, very good seasonal job. So whenever you appeared here last time, that was actually the middle of a season. The town was quite vibrant in its life. There were quite a lot of people. But off season, now since that time passed about 4 or 5 months since you last time were here, only the locals would mainly stay here. And of course, you wouldn't expect that much of the city life as you all used to. So you are able to bypass the difficult terrain, as Pegasus is not walking, he is just flying. Not high, he could do it higher, Rafe, but with the amount of passengers, he's just trying to keep you afloat, and just to make following the directions of yours. Rafe, I think only Rafe. Farwell wasn't in Kirinal ever before. Paul wasn't in Kirinal ever before. Sas also wasn't in Kirinal. None of you except for Rafe were ever in Druid Enclave. And you all know that actually becoming a guest in a Druid Enclave is quite difficult. And not everybody is able to pass the defensive barrier, which is erected by the druids. Not everybody knows what's the actual condition to pass it through. And last time, Rafe, you were traveling with one of its citizens, one of the druids, Kwa, and he told you that the ancient magic allows to detect the intentions of an individual once they pass through the barrier. And if the individual thinks of any harm towards the town as itself, then the barrier would protect and will repel the person. So that's the first line of defense for the druids that they have erected. And this is how they were always keeping their neutrality against everybody and tried not to interfere into any business. And the only reasons why they actually now part of the, let's say, Tethir community is because Kua was one of the members of the government body who are named the Emerald Court, and they voted to start participating into external events. So the isolation was basically over. Rave, you know approximate direction, and you seen that Sas periodically is looking at a very weird round-shaped device on his hand. This device has several metallic rods which are periodically rotating and changing direction. And you've seen those rods not moving once you were in the bubble. But now as you're flying on Pegasus, you realize that all of those 3 rods, they're pointing to one single direction. Sas, your device is working right now.
So it's not broken. Good.
No, it's not broken.
Thus? What kind
Yeah.
of interesting device is that you have there? Asks. Looks fancy.
I don't know. It's the arrows. They usually point where I need to go.
So the device looks like this. I think you should.
So I follow the arrows if I don't know where to go.
You can see the picture now in the Maps and Lore channel. Should be appearing there.
DM spoiling.
I'm not
You weren't
spoiling anything.
hiding
They
it,
see
right?
the device.
Right.
They're next to you.
Okay, but where? Why would it point you to somewhere? What is it pointing towards? Like
I don't know. There's a letter N on it. I don't know what it means.
Inside check. Polo doesn't believe that he doesn't know what his own item does.
Insight? Okay. Go ahead. Roll for insight, Polo.
There's some...
Intelligence -1.
What is that today? I rolled a 13 when I have +11. What the hell? It's my second roll and none was beyond 2.
That seems to be going to be a very exciting game today. So.
Let's hope there will be no fighting. Ooh, wait. Fighting. All bears. All bears.
Yeah, so with your insight, you pretty much you look at Sas as he's starting to access the device, and it's basically like you're looking at the modern day phone. You know what it does, but you don't have any idea how those components inside of it work. You were told that clicking these specific buttons would open you and allow you to call your grandma, but other than that, you have no idea. So Sas has exactly the same attitude towards this object. He was told that letter N means something, but how it works exactly, he has no clue.
The N is the best letter because the arrows point to it. So. It has the most arrows usually pointing to it.
Yeah.
But it was broken in a bubble. So I was afraid it was broken after the fight. Also.
I mean, if you don't mind, I can have a look at it. How it is. Just interested by the device itself.
Sure.
Yeah? Okay. So Howard would take a look at it. Very close up.
Investigation, please.
Investigating it. Oh, a crit. Okay. We're back in the game.
I'm telling you, those rolls, they sometimes up and down. It's always a balance. So, as you're looking at this object and you notice that in spite of all the shaking as you're flying above the ground on the Pegasus, the arrows, those 3 arrows inside of it, they seems to be pointing always in the same direction, sometimes pointing a bit more to the left, to the right, but kind of like you realize that you yourself actually move the object. You realize that this is probably working as a compass, allowing you to identify the directions.
That's a very, very useful tool there. Don't have many of these around these days. I hear they can be quite expensive. Be careful.
Yeah,
Don't break it.
haven't seen a single one on sale in all of the shops we visited.
Yeah, I haven't encountered one in years. They are really rare.
Good. I'm taking it back.
Yeah, I'm
So-
sure that's worth something.
Yes. So as you're passing by the ironwood on the left of its side, you're basically using the shortcut to go through the forest in the direction, and Sas is helping you out to identify where exactly to fly, Rafe. And using this specific object that actually helps you quite a lot, shortening the time of your travel. Rafe, after approximately 5 hours of flying, you realize that the density of the woods actually starts to increase. There's less and less gaps anymore between the tall trees around here, so that the Pegasus could fly normally between them. So now it's only whether above the trees or under the trees and by the ground level. And as you're trying to identify where exactly you need to lead, you realize there is a group of the half-elves noticing you and shout in your direction something from a distance. There is approximately 100 meters away from them, but your approach was noticed, and you realize that they are waving to you.
Waving like friendly?
They are currently trying to attract the attention, and from the distance you notice that all of them are having the longbows equipped. And you have previously seen these outfits on them. And you realize they are from the Birch district of the Quirinal.
Oh, look at them greeting us. Right?
Hey, you!
Maybe.
Do you have flying
Hello
permits? Come here.
Flying license. Speed.
Flying license and registration, please.
I mean, we don't want to fight, right? And we want to show that we're friends, and someone should know me at least. So let's just
ignore them.
Rafe, you
Honestly,
are
no,
in
no,
charge.
no.
Rafe, you
That's
are in
good.
charge of horse.
There's like a magic barrier and we're flying, so we're gonna hit it at some point. I think that's the basic idea. And we should not hit it, I guess. At least not at full
Just
speed or so.
Think
right?
about how you love all the elves very much, and then we pass through.
And
no.
think
I mean,
about the
we were
Pegasus.
friends.
Pegasus might be like a bad demon kind of thingy, and it might just
There's
perish.
no.
Well, we'll
it's
find
an
out
animal.
if
They
it
like
dies when we
animals.
keep flying.
We should just identify ourselves, and then they would let us continue. But otherwise, they're just gonna start throwing those arrows at us.
Yeah,
This
I'm
is a
just saying,
violation
careful.
of
with the
our Fourth
Pegasus.
Amendment rights.
I mean, we are violating their fly space or their I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
ask the
called-
reason for the stop, What is the reason for the stop, officer?
No, come on. we're gonna descend like
Rafe,
slowly,
you are in
friendly.
charge.
We're gonna look very good. Yeah, no, I'm doing
Yeah,
that.
you
yes.
descend and as you get closer, you realize that this is a group of 4. There is 3 guys, half elves, and 1 girl. And the one who was addressing you was actually a girl. And she seems to be in charge of these units. As you're getting
Right on.
closer, you see the following image. This is how she looks.
It's a new Bryn.
It's a clone of Bryn.
It's her
Ah.
sister, maybe.
So,
You notice, as you're getting closer, you notice that several of the men in the group, they put their hands on the hilts of the short swords. But then she's saying something to them, and they immediately relax and kind of like back off. She's getting closer to you as you descend on the Pegasus, and I know you. You've been to Kirinol before.
Yes. Yes.
Do you
Yes,
remember me?
Of course, of course. How can I forget about you? Yeah, I'm a friend of Quo, right? But yeah, just don't think about that. Because she's the ex, right?
She's the ex, yes.
Yeah.
She's the ex-girlfriend of Quo. She was already ex back then when you visited Kirinol, but they were still talking. So what you remember about her, Rafe, is that she is from the Birch district, and that they were very close with Quo for some time, but then they got quarreled. And she is not the one who would be, hiding behind other people's backs. Rather, she would be the one initiating the fight herself. This is kind of character of hers. And previously, when you've seen her, she was wearing just a nice daily druid dress. And this is the first time you see her in fairly military outfit. But still fits her fairly well. As she is commanding to other elves behind her to notify. She is now saying this all in common, so you also understand. And she says, "Yeah, we would be notifying their commanders so that you would be approaching without any problems." Yeah, what are you heading to the Kirinol? Do you have any news? Are you bringing any more supplies? Do you have any
For
other
now.
tiefling caravan incoming?
Yeah, maybe at some point. Yeah, but not yet. I have to organize that with my father, depending on things. But for now, like, we're here today because we need some help from you guys, if it's possible. I know that it's been hard for you. It's also been hard for us. We have been fighting against some forces that affect all the kingdom, like not just like some capitals or something, like it's everything everywhere, also here, of course. And we lost some people, we lost some body parts, and yeah, we're looking for the best people restoring life force and other things. So we thought about coming here and seeing what the options are. Yeah, that's what we're doing
Awesome.
here basically
Oh,
today.
of course. Friends of Kuo and friends of Bayan are definitely welcomed in Kirinol. I can actually wait, give me a second. I may be assisting you and accompanying you on the way to the town. As I see your friends here, I don't know your other friends, so I assume
Yeah,
they
let
don't
me
know the
introduce-
rules. And
Yeah, they don't know them yet, but yeah, it would be great if you could like tell them a little bit about it. They are like my my new Prime members, also friends with Guo, but we didn't talk so much about kernel and the rules. They were really, really looking forward coming here and like seeing everything. They really admire everything that droids do, right?
Right?
So yeah, so I'm just gonna show. Yeah, this is us. This is Farrell. This is Polo. That's it, right?
Okay. So, since all of Polo is from the capital, Farveld is from the country, and Sas is from the kind of monastery, but still from the same country. All three of you have heard about the Druid Enclave before, but you probably have different impressions about them and different attitudes. So, what would be Sas' attitude towards Druids?
If they're at peace with tieflings and they don't look hostile to Wraith, then I'm gonna keep neutral or good attitude, but mostly neutral.
Okay, Farveld?
So, because we lived at the border and we fight off the orcs while they were just sitting here in the woods and raising some plants. So,
But they were attacked.
Yeah, so globally, those problems with orcs, they were like exponential, growing from year to year. But druids, they actually started to participate fairly late in everything. Yes, they were not part of anything. That's why SAS has this
they
kind
were
of
never
attitude.
like a border patrol or anything like that.
No. Farveld, what would be your attitude?
I mean, well, so far technically touch points with druids except Vani and Quo and Bayan, of course. So yeah, that's it. So, but the touch points he had, like, well, 66% were very positive. So let's say he's kind of neutral, leaning towards positive. That's Farveld's take. But he never had to deal with their society or so he doesn't really know so much about them. He heard things back then in court and all of that, but no first-hand experience at all.
Okay.
As for Polo, it's a different story because I suppose just a reminder, Polo is not a normal half, but he's a ghostwise half. So they kind of used to live in forests and secluded areas and stay to themselves. But they are also very much in touch with nature. So where he comes from, where his roots come from, there's a shared interest and understanding for the nature he has with the druids. However, that's his past, lies long time behind him. So there is like some basis, but it's not like he's been in touch with that. Maybe doesn't want to. We'll find out.
Okay. So that all makes sense. That's your attitude towards the druids and how much you know about them. So you notice how this half-elf female, she's giving a couple of the commands to her men. And meanwhile, she's taking the Pegasus under the... What's the English word for it? That you use for the controlling the horse?
Reins or leash?
Probably reins, yes. Reins, I think. What's the German word for it?
Which part?
Pferd kontrollen.
Nah, but which part are you?
The one that you control the directions.
There's no. It's Zügel.
Okay. So yeah, she's taking the Zügel. And she is walking along the road, meanwhile keeping the conversation with you, Rafe. And you all can hear from her a couple of the latest news. You notice that So we have an issue. Someone dropping.
Sorry,
Okay, he's
that
back.
was me
He's back.
clicking the wrong button.
Happens. So, as she is progressing further into the woods, she tells you that soon you would be encountering the barrier, protection barrier. And if the barrier detects that you mean any harm to the town, you would be stopped and asked to leave. And this is one of the objects, sacred objects to the Quirinal itself, and which allowed them to keep the neutrality for many years. She's basically giving you an introductory speech for somebody who haven't seen a town and approaches like a place which has been closed from most of the people in Tithir. And as you're going through, she's saying, prepare yourself. And you realize you're starting, the air intensifies, becomes more tense and then more gluish, as if you are going through the gelatinous cube for a second. And as you're going through, you realize that this feeling is gone in a moment. And even though just a moment ago, you've seen this continuous road in the middle of the woods with the tall trees and the sun high up in the sky. Right after this momentary feeling of a barrier disappears, instead, you see the following. Please check maps and lore. So only Rafe has previously visited Quirinal before, others didn't. So the majority of the living happens here on the trees, and they're connected between each other by the bridges, hanging bridges. You also immediately, as she introduces you to Quirinal itself, she also introduces you that the town is actually divided in districts, and every single district is dedicated to a specific tree. And every single district has a head who is acting upon the well-being of its own people. So the heads of the district, they all gather up and they are named as Emerald Council, and they are deciding the most life and death questions of the whole enclave. Previously, Kuo's uncle was in charge of the Oak district, but no longer in place. Previously, Bayan was a son of a Birch district representative, but now he is, as his oldest son, he is now in the Emerald Council. Emerald Court, sorry. So he is now in charge of his own council. 2 of the council members were killed during the siege. And currently their internal districts are deciding who would be the next representative, as there are no direct heirs left after them. So currently, as you're entering the town, you realize that even though, Rafe, you have a perfect image of how it looked before, but now you realize that most of the bottom floors, bottom trunks of those massive 100 or more years old trees, they're churned. Some of them are cut. Some of them are fallen to the ground. You realize that there is a signs of destruction still present. So the nature, the forest in a town slowly repairs, but it would still take quite some time to bring everything back in order. You realize that this topic is not the most pleasant for Syria to describe. So the girl's name is Syria for everybody. And as she is telling the story to all, she's genuinely avoiding mentioning Koa or him. She just mentions the Orc district representative. That's all what she says. So, as she's passing further, she is directing you towards the one of the buildings here, what most of the travelers would be staying in. And she currently gonna go and ask Bayan to take care of. She would need to return back to her post.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as you are currently standing next to a small wooden building, you realize that apart from elves and half-elves in this area, you also notice a couple of humans who are walking around, who seems to be in an apron and with hammers. Seems to be from the construction guild or somebody who is helping with bringing back the Quirinal to its glory. So it's no longer that limited to a specific race or sub-races as it was before. Rafe. As you're looking further ahead, there is a very interesting sight that you see. You hear a familiar speech in Inferno. And that's what attracts your attention.
Okay.
As you look in the direction, you realize that there are 3 tieflings standing 3 floors above you on a tree with their backs to you, seemingly talking about the further directions and directives and what they're gonna drink in the evening. And one of the voices you recognize. The voice belongs to your sibling,
Right.
Sebas Epicus.
Oh, amazing.
Please check maps and lore, as this is how he looks like.
Someone unlocked the DLC.
Yeah, they're all standing with their backs to you, so they don't know about your presence.
Yeah, I mean, I can already ignore my brother, right? So that would be super rude. I mean, I don't hate him, right?
You tell us.
Just treat
You tell
him.
us what your relationship to your brother is.
I mean, family is important. We can talk and we love each other, everything. But like whatever he does in life, like it's his thing. What I do in mine is my thing. Like yeah, in terms of profession or yeah. But we can meet to eat something at the palace, and that's not a problem.
But are you telling the party it's your brother, or?
Yeah, you only you
Yeah.
also hear the familiar, like you've heard Infernal recently quite a lot, especially from the tieflings that were accompanying you on the fight against Roman Ravenmar. So those tones of voices and they are familiar to you. You also hear it, and you see that Rave looks that direction. But what exactly she thinks, and you have no clue.
But it's like, what is he doing exactly? Is he helping build?
So imagine there is like a balcony outside of one of the buildings. It's a 4th floor above you, and they're standing there discussing their evening plans, evening lunch.
So they're not doing anything. Like, they're
No.
not doing physical work. Okay.
No.
I thought that they were helping. I was like, oh my god, are they doing something that usually servants do? But yeah, okay.
No, they're not doing that.
Then of course I can interrupt him and tell him hello. So I'm gonna not very formally like scream to him in Infernal, of course, and tell him, hey, what are you doing here?
You all see how Rafe looks up and says something in Infernal. And as those three dudes, they're immediately looking to the left, first to the unknown floor, and then their eyes are slowly moving down, and they can see a group of travelers. You can see a halfling, you can see a black Pegasus, you can see a monk without a hand, with a huge two-handed sword. And then in front of them, standing Rave in her, I would say, outdoor hunting, traveling outfit. You notice that two of the guys who are standing on this balcony, they immediately change their posture into like this. Meanwhile, the third guy, the one that's on the picture, you see that his eyes for a second become like kind of elfish. They kind of become like really big. And then they kind of narrow down, you know, like... Rikrithiki? Is that
Yeah,
you?
what else could it be? Yes, but what are you doing here? It's normal for me to be here.
Definitely, absolutely. How could I forget? But I will find you. I will find you later. We will talk. We'll talk. Just don't run away, okay?
Okay.
And he gathers those two men and disappears on the fourth floor of the building. As a couple of minutes later, you no longer see any more tiefling in the area, but you see that how a familiar figure enters the building. This is Bayan. Do you remember how he looks?
Kind
Okay.
of, but maybe it's been a time. Can I show the picture again?
Yes, I will. Wait, I have to also add the names, I guess. Okay, bind picture incoming. And I'm also adding. Okay, all the names are added. Okay. As Bayan enters the room where you are currently held, he sees you. Rafe! Power Rangers! What an unusual and but nonetheless happy visit. I'm glad you find your way in here, even though I wish only my district and as well as my enclave could show you at its best, but this is not the most prosperous time for us. And as he goes with the embrace to you, you immediately realize one subtle change in his appearance. If previously his forehead was empty, now he has the birch tree mark there, birch tree tattoo.
Where? Birch
Wait.
tree tiefling?
No, birch tree tattoo
No.
on
Oh,
Bayan's
we're talking to Bayan.
forehead.
Ah,
Bayan.
Bayans. I thought we were still talking about the tiefling brother.
No,
that was,
those
No, we
dudes are...
left him behind.
Okay, yeah, my bad.
Yes. So as he greets you all, I don't think he met Sas. Did he?
I think I don't know. Are you sure?
We returned
No.
from the High Lakes and
And he was already gone to
Yeah.
Kirinel.
was it already, or we still saw him a bit?
I think that was the time when we saw Quo the first time taking his place. When we came back from the High Lakes. Because that was also after the Pit of Malice and all of this. There was
Yes.
like big change when we came back.
Yes. So he hasn't met Sas. Sorry.
Bless you.
Thanks. Yeah. So guys, what are you doing here? How can I be of help? The patrol told you that your friend needs a healing. Oh, I can see you're missing a hand. Is that you? Is that the patient?
Yeah, that's part of the help we need. And the other one is that, do you remember Bryn?
Of course. What a lovely lady.
Right? She was murdered.
Like, takes out the skeleton from the bag.
I have her in my bag. I mean, her body. And I was hoping that we could bring her back. It's been less than 10 days for sure. And
Very
it's
subtle.
crazy, everything that's happening. We didn't want this to happen. She was just helping in the fight against the creatures that we fight against usually, yes.
Oh, that's we definitely could help. As a head of a Birch district, we are extremely happy for the assistance that tieflings have brought to us, and I cannot reject your asking for help, Rafe. Of course, we will help. I just need to provide me the body and or part of the body if you have, and then I will have to distract a couple of my men for the ritual, and they will see what they can do. You know that I'm not a mage, but now I have people I could command, so learning the management firsthand.
Oh, thank you so much. Of course, I'll also let my father know about like extra help, and there might be more help coming, but I cannot promise anything.
Even more. That would be the
but
most.
keep it low. Don't tell anybody. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Of course.
Yeah,
We
I can
are.
come just as a surprise because I wouldn't know when that would come, right? So I cannot really give you an estimation of the time. But for now, we really need this help, like as soon as
Just
possible.
knowing about intentions is already a great deal for us. For many years, we were trying to get by just with our own means, and I still remember the times when my grandparents were just trying to reject everything that was coming from the outside world, and we're sitting here in a shell. But now, after my trip with you to the capital and seeing other people, other races, and also receiving help in times of need, now I realize how silly we were trying to just shell against the world and be on our own. So I'm also grateful for what you've taught me along the way.
Yeah.
So give me the body, or give him the bag. Like, how do you wanna, you know?
Can one of you help me take her out? I mean, I can of course like start taking her out, but then it's gonna be a little bit heavy. So like a second hand then when she starts appearing might be needed. Let's do it. Yeah, so I just
will be
take the
of help.
bag. Okay. And then let's take her out.
Yeah. Of course, immediately as you're taking her out, this is where the corpse stench kind of crawls into the room. But yeah, he sees her, he sees the wounds, and yeah, he of course recognizes her, and he immediately shouts something to the people, asking to bring a couple of his men. Okay, then I suggest just don't disturb it anymore. Just keep it as it is. Just follow me. You can just go into my rooms. I think I could dedicate a couple hours to my friends, and then I have to go back to business.
Of course. We know that you're like very busy right now. Like, yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for your help, Bayan. Like, it's good to see you, Farwood says, and thank you for helping us, and sorry for jumping you with all of those requests for help. As you know,
No.
like, time is...
After what we have received from tieflings, that's a minor thing I could help. And as you're passing through, and he's starting to climb up several stairs, going all the way into the depth of the Birch district, the higher you are, the more is your visibility of the whole kernel. And this is where you realize that, like, about 30% of the whole enclave, most of the south part of it, is actually completely burned down. So the whole town took significant damage. And the higher you are, the more you can see the devastation of the war. As you notice the change of the scenery, Bayan tells you that the shamans, they were able to disrupt the barrier as much as they could, so that the advanced forces could penetrate into the inner sanctum of town. And there was intense and very fierce fighting happening on the streets of its own enclave, which no one really ever expected. Everybody believed that the barrier is impregnable. That's a hard word. Yes, and yeah, they were taken by surprise by the first attack. But later on, the reinforcements from Ironwood came and cut the major attack from the orcs, and they were able to reset the barrier and were starting their own warfare. They also were glad that Quo returned and was able to assist in organization of his own Oak district, as he was a direct heir. And waiting until they will elect somebody else would just take some time and would prove very fatal maybe to the defenses of the whole town. The indecisive, the lack of leadership, yeah, that's not something that druids do really fast. They can choose somebody fast. They are not used to the fast pace of the outside world. You've been led all the way into the top of the Birch district, and he is bringing you to his own house, which looks the following way. He is immediately serving you a couple of the drinks on the table, and as you settle down, let's go on a short pause of 5-7 minutes, and then we're back in the personal cabinet of Bayan Birch, and you will have time for your questions, and we will see what happens further. 5-7 minutes, and we're back.